We remember playing in aid of the Beethoven Fund. That was in 1987.
1987, 8 years ago?
Yes, 8 years ago.
Golly.
Yes.
Okay.
And since then, the Beethoven Fund has raised a lot of money. I hope that in the future you will find donators who contribute even more. And for the 20th anniversary, my warmest congratulations on an organization which is very important, not only to musicians because it gives us the chance to play Beethoven together, but on the children who are not able to hear what we can hear.
Yes, and of course I have an even longer link, and that is that back in the late 60s, or at least close to 1970, I met Ezra Rachlin in Houston when I had the orchestra there. And so it's nice to have several links with such a distinguished group of people, and I congratulate you.
It was one of the most memorable, I think, official engagements that I've ever undertaken. I didn't understand the concept at the time that music is something to teach the deaf. The two did not appear to me to go together. And this struck me very, very much about Ezra explaining to me how the deaf not only can hear, feel music, but that they can enjoy it and make music. And it changed my way of thinking, I must say. May I therefore take this opportunity to sincerely wish the Beethoven Fund every congratulation on this 20th anniversary and every future success.
I remember very well, November '83, I conducted a London Philharmonic concert in the aid of the Beethoven Fund. At the reception after the concert, you introduced a young girl, played with great virtuosity xylophone. That young girl was Evelyn Glennie. Tonight, Evelyn Glennie expressing her thanks to you by playing on this concert which was on the memory of Ezra Rachlin, your husband, who accompanied her on the piano on that evening, November '83. I am delighted to send you my good wishes and congratulations to that very noble fund, the Beethoven Fund for Deaf Children, on its 20th anniversary.
I think it's very important to stress that Ezra not only had skills as a musician, skills of the ear, which we all know about, but he had visual skills and sensitivity with a camera to a remarkable degree. Even as a young conductor, he had concerts for children. But it was comparatively late in life, and particularly through his association with Anne, that he developed the ability to capture the effect of music on a child, and particularly on a deaf child, the way in which they're introduced to a new world and their reaction to it. And that is part of Ezra's humanity, not of his musical skills, and it's something of the greatness of the man.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is only fitting that I be speaking to you this evening about the Beethoven Fund from the Beethoven House. I'm right here in Bonn in the midst of an extraordinary Beethoven marathon to celebrate the 225th year. Everyone's here and there's an enormous amount of Beethoven. And I can't help but think with much pride and joy back upon the opportunities that I have had to give concerts in London for the Beethoven Fund. Ezra Rachlin gave so much of his life and time to this fund. I remember in the years that I was more closely associated with the Beethoven Fund, his devotion to it and his contribution. And it is only fitting that today his memory be celebrated by all of you in attending this function and supporting the Beethoven Fund and in its magnificent work. I wish you a pleasant, wonderful evening, and I only wish that I could be with you.
Ezra and I gave our debuts in Berlin within the same week, and Berlin at the time was a music capital of the world. And it is very interesting to ponder on the way lives, musical lives, Ezra's and mine, have paralleled each other in remarkable forms. I mean, coming from Russia originally, and I made it only to New York, where I was born in 1916, but Ezra made it to Hollywood. He went farther west than I did. Curiously enough, ending, well, I don't know when mine will, it may be very shortly, I may still be granted a few years, in London, where this hospitable nation has accepted and welcomed musicians for many centuries from all over the world. And not to speak of Handel and Haydn and Paganini, even Mozart, and very close relations with Beethoven. It is a pity that, having only known his wonderful conducting and this excellent orchestra that he had built up in Austin, Texas, having known him too shortly for only the days we met, there's so much that, as I say, not only parallels, but forms ties that we could have used and put to good advantage. But that makes me all the happier to be able to get to know Anne Rachlin, who is, again, a person who is giving her life to the needs of children for music and what music can do for them. We have much in common.